Now, only if you murdered someone yourself in the commitment of a crime like rape. See, statutory rape, you get put in jail like any other prisoner, right? It's a crime like any other crime there, too, right? You can't murder me over it, for example, right? You gotta just put me in jail. You may hate the crime, right? But you can't hate the criminal who accidentally had sex with a 15-year-old girl, right? That's not intentional, right? See, some of those things are taken into account. Plus, you're talking about emancipating children now, right? Right. Well, does that include sexually? Right. Right. Uh-oh. Also, she's doing a job where she has to be legally a certain age at the time, and I'm showing you that too, right? 16, right? So why'd she say 37? She didn't say 16, she didn't say 15, they don't even remotely sound the same, right? 37, 16, 15, right? Three different ages, which was nowhere near the age she said, right? When I asked her, right? I can't have temporary amnesia because I had it before with the wrecking fault, right? I don't remember everything that happened. I do remember some things that happened before the wrecking fault, right? But not everything. Idiot. You can't prove that either, right? Beyond all reasonable doubt, I'm not trying to have sex with a 15-year-old girl who proves it. Caitlin and Megan never had sex with them, right? Like I said, unless they're sneaking to the house at night, and then the single, though, right? They are 16, right? See, statutory rape cannot be where the father shoots the statutory rapist. That's illegal, right? That turns it into a murder trial for him, right? And that's a felony murder charge, right? You can't murder me over it, even if you feel like it, like an STU, right? The due process of the law, right? For statutory rape, especially consensual statutory rape, because if she did it, I thought she was 37 and could consent, right? Now, the only place we could do it is the bathroom, or if there was an office area, but it would have to be some other location, right? Besides the bathroom, right? Now, if the wall behind to the left, right, of us, right, as you go in, if there was an upper stairwell behind it, I didn't know that, right? But there could have been, and the girl could have showed me all that and brought me upstairs. I don't remember all that detail, right? There you go, as well. Now, if you got to arrest me for that crime, that right? No one raped technically anyone. Statutory rape is still consensual sex. You don't get to murder the statutory rapist in cold blood. You call the police and have him arrested, right? You don't get to shoot him in cold blood, especially if he's unarmed. By the way, the Lord does that too. Why do you think they're crucifying Jesus if he was with 10 virgins in Jerusalem? Uh-oh. What do you think he's talking about? The 10 virgins anyway, right? And that 5 of them were wise and 5 of them were foolish, right? Right. And where was the 10 women that David left behind at Jerusalem? Right. Now, they all slept with Absalom, right? All 10. Right? So he's talking about something having to do with David and Absalom, and also 10 virgins he might have been with in Jerusalem, right? Now, if you're with 10 virgins in Jerusalem, will that piss them off, right? To crucify you? Maybe. I don't know either. I don't know what he's talking about there either, but he's talking about something, right? He's talking about his current time, too, right? Not only did he get 7 women outside of Jerusalem, he got 10 in Jerusalem, right? Virgins. Now, if Jesus was 10 virgins in Jerusalem, won't that piss him off? No. Well, that's a common thing to bring up to people. The 10 virgins waiting for the bridegroom. What's he even talking about there? What does that have to do with the law of Moses? It don't. It has to do with David and Absalom, actually, right? When David got to Jerusalem, he took 10 other wives, right? And when he fled, he left 10 behind, right? Right. To take care of Jerusalem, right? For some reason. And Absalom was advised by his advisors to sleep with them all, right? Yeah. Though David never slept with him again after they slept with his son, right? They were defiled. They were defiled. Okay, so what does the 10 virgins mean? 5 of them were wise and 5 of them were foolish, right? And when was he with them? When he went to Jerusalem? I don't know, twice, 3 times, right? Every year, every festival. Right? When do you go to Jerusalem if you're a male? Every 3 times a year, at least. Right? Which feast do you go to Jerusalem for? What was feast 1? Passover. What's feast 2? Pentecost. What's feast 3? Trumpets or what? Atonement, right? 3 times a year, all males are together, right? In Jerusalem. Not 1 time a year, right? Now, 10 of the virgins were with the bridegroom first, right? Right. And kept up their oil every time he came big, right? But 5 of them were foolish and didn't keep up their oil when he came back. What does that mean? Oh. See, oil. Oil. And what Paul says about your wives and keeping them. Please, please, please. And see, now TLC's trying to come up with some kind of program where this woman gets 2 husbands, right? Told you TLC would do that, right? You know why? It's a ratings war. It's a ratings war. And I talked about that myself, right? It's harder for a woman to marry 2 men, right? Remember I said that, right? Or more, right? Than a man to marry 2 women or more, right? Because of the stigmatism for the second male, right? And see, even like in you know, any type of marriage, right? Even Bathsheba became David's favorite after all that with her, right? And they had 3 more children, not just Solomon, right? Nathan and another child. In fact, Mary's line might be Nathan, right. And Joseph's lines might be Solomon, right? But that's why, even though Kodiah is cursed, Nathan wasn't. Nathan wasn't. Oh. But it's also, if it's through Mary's line, right, there was no curse, right, on Solomon's line, right? Like there was, right? There was. And it's Koniah who was cursed to go into Babylon and be written as childless, but yet he's got to be somewhere in there, right? hmm Now, why is it thought, though some of them became eunuchs called Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? And Daniel or Belteshazzar, right? Or Czar, whatever they called him, right? See, they had 2 names, the Hebrew names and the, right, Babylonian names. Now, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are the Babylonian names. I forgot the Jewish names are not as popularized as the Babylonian names, right? Either, right. Now, the thing is, even if me and the girl consensually had sex at 50, you can't shoot me over it, right? You can arrest me if you catch us in the act and put me in jail, but you can't just shoot me. See, that's a different crime. That's making a crime worse than the crime I committed, which is a sex crime, right? The statutory rape is with the consent of the child, even, but, right? Even though she can't give consent. Do you understand that as well, right? You can't just shoot me over it because I had sex with an underage girl, right? You can put me in jail, right? You can arrest me, right? But you can't just shoot me, right. Now, And no one can prove anything 2,000 years later anyway, right? But Jesus does bring up the 10 virgins himself, right? He talks about five of them being wise and five of them being foolish and about waiting on the bride, right? Mhm. Well, the virgins are only virgins as long as they A, didn't get pregnant, or B, were keeping their oil field, right? In their lamps, in their lamps as well, even if they didn't get pregnant. Say the first 3 times they had sex or whatever, right? I don't know. Right. See, his ministry started from the first Passover mentioned in John. Then there's a second Passover, and the third Passover, that's when he's crucified. That ain't 3 years, that's 2 years, fool. He was baptized probably sometime before atonement as well, right? So that's 2.5 years. See, three Passovers is 2 years, not 3 years, idiot, right? You can have three Passovers in a 2 year period. You need four for it to be 3 years, right? Why? Why? So you're the feast is your feast. If you have him baptized by John, and then you have the Passover, also mentioned in John, where he first cleansed the temple, where he did it twice, or once before Pilate was there, which was around 26 AD, right? The second one was 27 AD, right? See, if he did it in 25, right? 26, he didn't do it, but 27, he did, right? Pilate was there by then, right? And if he's about 30 when he begins his ministry and is baptized by John, that means how old is he really? 29, 29, right? He's not 30 yet. Not yet 30 means what? You're 29, right? The math, right? Everything you're doing is because you're refusing to accept the truth of Jesus Christ, right? The real truth, right? And you're making shit up, right? You said he died at 33 because three Passovers is 3 years. No, fool. Three Passovers is 2 years, right? See, you're getting confused. You're getting confused. Why do you don't really give a damn about Jesus? No, you don't. You're just trying to save yourself from this another generation, right? And not really caring about the truth either, right? Everything the Bible tells you, though, is to figure out the truth. Old Indy. Old Indy. See, Paul originally taught him from the old. There was no new, right? And as he converted them, he started writing them letters, right? Now, when I'm writing someone letters and I'm teaching them from the old, and you don't even know what he taught from the old, right? But now, you don't know the old like Paul needs the old, right? I know you don't, because I'm reading, I'm learning new things myself, right? Especially Ezekiel 31, right? Which suggests Satan committed suicide and drowned in the ocean, right? By the way, or the seas, right? I know. If you read it the right way, he went down into the grave, into the watery deeps, and I covered his death, right? Could also be something to do with the asteroid and the dinosaurs, right? I know. Mhm. And they mourn for him, right, too, right? Nobody really mourned for Jesus like they should have, and they won't mourn for the two witnesses either, right? They'll be happy we're murdered, right, in Jerusalem, right? They'll give gifts like it's Christmas or something, right? Right. Mm-hmm. Which, if it happens around atonement, it's not Christmas. And that's part of what it is, too. Jesus died as the Passover lamb, where probably something tied into the atonement, right? And that those feasts in September, not February, not February, March, April, May, whatever it is, right, right. It's anywhere from March to April when Passover can be, right? In fact, we're coming up on it after Easter, right? I mean, after St. Patrick's Day on the 17th, right? Easter's coming around again. Here goes Peter Cottontail. Hopping down the bunny trail. Hippity hoppity, Easter's on his way. Now, if you catch an adult and a child that committing statutory rape, you gotta arrest the adult and again, right? Separate him from the child, right? Well, like I said, you don't get to black me out over it, right? No, you don't. That's taking the law into your own hands. That's vigilante behavior. You can't do that either. Right? I told you why too. Or you're trying to murder me, right? Well, that changes her crime to attempted murder too, because she knew you can murder me, right? Uh-oh. And see, if that's part of the plan was to try and murder me during the after the sex, right, and then tell me he was really 15, trying to make me feel guilty about it, I didn't, right? I forgave you all, right? As Jesus forgave what they did to him on the cross too, right? See, that's what you're forgetting. Forgiveness is greater than condemnation. You're trying to condemn me for something I didn't know, right? Even the Bible says he that knows to do good and does it not, him in sin, right? I would have to know that was a 15-year-old girl you met, and I didn't until after I met her, right? See. In fact, I wouldn't have slept with her if I thought she was 15. Just like with Megan or Caitlin, I didn't try to sleep with them two, right? I just waited in line or, treated them normally, right? So you have no proof I'm trying to sleep with a 15-year-old girl, right? No, you don't. No, you don't. Not at all. Not at all. You're trying to set me up with a 15-year-old girl who lied about her age, and then you tried to murder me after she seduced me. Lying about her age. Yeah, you did that. But that's not the same. That's not the same. And see, you gotta watch it for you to learn what the punishment for that crime is. I go to jail. You don't get to murder me. I don't get to electric chair for statutory raping someone, idiot, right? You just go to jail for it, right? It's no different than rape as long as you don't murder the woman, right? But the difference is you're saying the child can't consent, right? At 15, right? That's only a year off in Georgia, right? From the age of consent, right? So, like I said, and you're putting her in a job she has to be 16-year-old to do, right? As I'm showing you to, right? So what's going on? You're trying to trap me, right? Yes, I do get to play that card because you told me yourself. A 15-year-old girl can get emancipated from her father, right? Uh-oh. Didn't you? Didn't you? If she goes and files a petition with the court and can show she can support herself, yes, she can. Now, the thing about becoming emancipated is you're declared an adult, right? From that point on, even in all your affairs, including sexual ones, right? That's why you're an idiot about all this shit, right? You're not thinking it all the way through. And I am. Even if I have to forgive your crazy ass, right? I'm forgiving you your stupidity. And it's your stupidity. It's your carnal mind that won't see the truth of the law, right? How it's supposed to both protect you and the child, right? From the child taking advantage of an older adult, too. You can't do that either, right? Do you understand? If I'm not trying to sleep with a child, you can't entrap me into sleeping with one, right? Either. I know better. Asking her age, which is the only way to know better, right? Right. I don't have to card her. She should have already been carded by her employer. You understand? It's not my job to card someone or not, right? If she tells me 37, too, that's not a simple age, right? That's 13 years younger than me at the time, right? That's legal to sleep with a 37-year-old, right? I don't have to card her. Whether I did or not, I don't remember either, but right, I legally don't have to. Right? Now, let's say I did, though, and asked her to prove she was 37, right? And that's why she really took me up to the office. I don't know. Guessing after that, because I have a temporary amnesia, right? And when I finally got out, I missed my movie by over an hour. And doing the nails and, right. Whatever else being the girl did at the store, which I'm not sure of, right? 100%, right? But see, your little plans are revealed too when you're trying to cover your own ass, right? See, the problem is with attempted murder or trying to be vigilante for her, right? You can't do that if the punishment for the crime is like simply go to jail. I didn't kill her. I didn't any really rape her, right? Statutory rape is still the idea of consensual sex with the child too, right? So you don't get to shoot me over it, right? You just get to put me in jail even if you hate it, right? The crime itself, right? See, that's called bias towards the criminal, right? But the real punishment ain't what you get to do, right, all the time, right? See, unless you change those laws and make it a murderous offense for it, right? The statutory rape, and it's just sex with the child, right? That's 15. That's only a year younger than the age of consent in Georgia, right? And I showed you that on the damn map, right? Certain states is still 16, the age of consent. California, Virginia, New York, that's still 18. But most states are still 16, right? The majority of them are. Mm-hmm. You understand, right? And it's not statutory rape if that's the age of consent in Georgia, right? It is California or Virginia is state by state now, right? Do you know what that means, right? That means you don't get to put me in jail for it without a trial for it as well. Mm-hmm. If I committed it or not, right? Now, you're saying like I knew she was 15 and who you meant. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Michelle's a common name. You didn't give me a last name or any details about the girl, right? You're just talking about someone perhaps working in a salon, which could be any salon in Georgia, right? Well, that's the point about looking up the age of how old a girl has to be to do that job, right? Which, for certain reasons, right? Legal reasons, you got to be over 15, right? So she can't even do the job at 15. That particular job, right? Not saying she can't do other jobs at 15, but that one she can't, right? You're being stubborn about that shit too. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yeah. Trying to make your little point, right? Well, your little point goes out the window too. It's self-righteousness, that right? It's not me trying to sleep with the 15-year-old girl. I thought I was with the 37-year-old girl, right? Woman, actually. See, that's the difference. It's all in the mind of the person, too, right? It's not just, oh, I'm trying to have sex with every 15-year-old I meet, right? I ain't doing that either. You're lying if you say I am. And, just one 15-year-old girl who lied about her age that she was 37, right? Was the only one who tempted me to actually have the sex with her because she looked like my ex-girlfriend Mary Bell, right? Or the girl I dreamed of before I met Mary Bell, right? Now, the reason I'm with Mary Bell is the girl I dreamed of before I met her, and I told her why we were dating, right? While I was with her, right? And that's the point, too. Right. I don't know what she was up to again. And she's acting like she's wanting to go back to her ex or stay with her ex more than me, but she's also acting like he won't let her go, and she feels compelled to stay with him for some reason, which, after 18 months, I finally met someone else, Michelle, which is coincidentally her name too, right? Then you're trying to entrap me, right? What's the difference? Well, I'm not trying to sleep with a 15-year-old girl. I know better, right? That's what entrapment is. When the person ain't trying to commit the crime, you're not only corrupting the girl, you're corrupting me to break the law, right? It's like in the movie The Corruptor with Mark Wahlberg and, right, Chow Yun Fat, right? No. Even if you have a police officer sleep with prostitutes or underage girls, which is the point, you're trying to corrupt the officer, right? If he does. And even then, I know, you're not going to rat the officer out because you are then able to blackmail him usually. Right? Right. Well, I'm not a police officer. I'm a disabled veteran who you knew was mentally ill before I could have committed the crime, man. You're just denying I'm mentally ill. That don't work that way. Yeah, no, it don't. Either you don't get to deny it if the courts acknowledge it, right? You see what I mean, right? You're trying to deny every medical excuse I have, but they're not excuses anymore, right? When I heard the voice and they diagnosed me with 3 different diagnoses of mental illness, right? I'm one of those 3, or if not a little of all 3, right? I fit the pattern, right? Of a paranoid schizophrenic, a delusionary person, right? Or a bipolar person, right? And any of those means I have a mental illness where I can go temporarily insane on someone and not be myself temporarily, but also snap back to reality too, right? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. All that also covers any crime I could commit, even not knowing the girl's age, right? If I asked her age, right? Before the commitment of the crime, right? See, the legal ramification of it is I asked her age, right? Not trying to sleep with her because she was 15, but 37, right? So that changes everything, right? If you watch SVU like I do, you understand what I'm talking about, right? It's the legal process of get me to do the statutory rape anyway, right? One is entrapment if she lied about her age, right? She lied because she knew I wouldn't sleep with her. She's 15, right? Wouldn't even tempt me, right? I would have just left and got my nails done, right? Right? Just like with Caitlin or Megan, right? I didn't want to try to really sleep with them. Nope. Like I said, I was reading to my house at night, which is hypothetical, right? I don't know they did. I don't know they did. But they were 16, right? That would be legal if they did come to the house, right? Right? Right. Unless they're lying about their age too, really 15. But again, I never made a move on them in the theater itself, right? If they came to the house, that's hypothetical, right? And I obviously have amnesia of that then, right? If they did, right? To See, you're not just trying to get me to commit statutory rape. You're trying to murder me over it, and you can't do that, right? Well, obviously you can't if you're trying to murder me over it, right? Do you know what I mean? Right, right. The Lord knows what they're doing too, by the way, right? And he don't like it when you set someone up for a crime and then you're lying about it yourself. See, 2 wrongs don't make a right with the Lord either. If the girl lied and the dad put her to work, right, and both knew they were 15, right, and the whole story didn't tell me he was 15 but 37, right, and the women knew too, I didn't have a clue who you meant, right? I just went in the store to get my nails like in the previous stores I went into to get my nails done, right? And it just turned out I thought I was getting lucky with her, unlike the other women. Right? That's all I would think. I was just getting lucky with her, and like the other women, and she really liked me, not the other women, right? And she was going for it. Don't matter why. I told you, women did that with me before. The same day, like with the girl at Shay's party, we took my car, we went and had sex, and then we came back to the party, right? The same day I met her, right? I told you that once I started having a little hanky-panky, right? And I met a girl at the club and the girl at Boston, and right? But they're all of age too. They all drove their own vehicles, or I had my car there, right? Now the 23-year-old, which is what she said she was, right? I didn't card her or anything, but she wasn't a virgin either, by the way, right? Oh. And she was playing the stripper dancer at the party anyway. And Shay had his girlfriend, and me and Uncle Russell were sitting there playing with her, right? And all that craziness, right? But she went off with me, and we had sex in my car down Midland Road, right? The same night, right? Now, once I realized I could have premarital sex with a girl old enough, right? See, we still go back to 18 to 16, right? In Georgia or California, right? Too. Now, why does California promote 18 over 16 in Georgia, right? In their state, that's the age of consent. Stupid, right? Simple as that, right? But in Georgia, it's 16. If you were to do Fast Times at Ridgemont High, it'd be a totally different movie, because at 16, she can sleep with the constitute, right? Just not at 18. Just not at 18, right? Otherwise, she would have to wait until she's 18, right? Which is why he quit dating her once he found out her age. See, she was dating a college student, and he would get in trouble for that shit, right? And once he found out her age, he quit seeing her, right? And then that's when she started hooking up with the other guys and all that, right? Trying to find a boyfriend, right? All right. Now, that's just making her character, though, seem a little slutty, but she's just looking for a boyfriend, the same as the males are looking for a girlfriend, right? See, the slut factor comes in because she's a female sleeping with a few dudes, right? But you don't call a man a slick. You're a slick dick there. To put him down, but you call the women sluts. You slick. You're a slick dick. Right. You're just trying to put it in any hole. Maybe Bill's butt. Right. That's what I mean, too, right? Some of you will switch off. See, that's what happened with Chris, probably, right? See, why would you think your cousin was trying to have sex with you when he was asleep when you came in, right? You must have been dealing with something like that yourself. Where you thought I was trying to have sex with you or something, right? When I was really having a wet dream around you, there's a difference, right? See, at 12, you start having wet dreams, you start humping the bed. It's not about you, it's not about you. Right. Now, I have been around dudes who have morning wood, who I spent the night with, like David Pelham, for example. But I know what that was, and I ignored it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do it myself sometimes. But I wasn't hard now, right? But he must have had a wet dream himself, right. But we didn't do nothing. He didn't hump me in the butt, and I didn't hump him in the butt either way, right? He just woke up one morning he would, right? Meaning he had a wet dream himself. And, though we were sleeping in the same bed, it wasn't with me. We had sex. We didn't have sex. We didn't have sex. But he did have a wet dream that night and woke up with morning wood, right? Morning wood is where you have a boner the next morning, right? From the wet dream. But the wet dream ain't him humping me, but still humping the bed, right? You understand, right? You're waking up with morning wood because of the wet dream, right? Not sex with anyone either. It don't mean we had actual sex. He was in his underwear, for example, right? So was I, right? But you can still wake up in the morning wood and not be sexual, right? It's not sexual to wake up in the morning wood. It's hormones at night where you're not aware of it, right? It's not gay either. It's not gay either. It's just morning wood. It's just morning wood. We can all wake up with morning wood, right? Now, when you get close to a female, though, and you get a hard on to slow dance with her, I'm getting real close. It's getting real hard. You're making it hard for me, right? See, that's what it means, too. If you respond to a female versus a male, right? And it has nothing to do with when you're asleep either. You can wake up with your best friend sleeping next to you, and it's a wet dream, I know, right? And usually all you have to do is wake up the person who's having a wet dream and say, hey, you have a wet dream, and you roll over and get back to sleep. It's easy to deal with, too. Or Myron even caught me humping the bed. That's a wet dream. That's a wet dream. It's not about you. It's not about you. I'm humping the bed. I don't know you're there, right? I'm out of it, right? You're not out of it, though, if you came home and thought I was trying to have sex with you and I'm asleep, right? So you knew what you were doing. I didn't. That means someone else might have took advantage of you that way. Mm-hmm. You're the one acting homophobic or heterophobic there, right? Too. Not me, not me. I'm asleep. And I just hit puberty too, right? I'm not even aware when you came in or left or anything. That means I was fully asleep. Right? I never really fully woke up unless you tried to smother me with a pillow. Keep me quiet. Right. Did you? Did you? Right. Try and keep me quiet? Because whatever you were doing was when you came in late. Right? Whatever I was doing, I was already asleep. And don't even remember waking up until next morning, right? Uh-oh. Someone was awake. And someone was asleep. What does that mean, right? One's having a wet dream and one's really trying to have sex with the other, so who's gay, right? One really trying to have sex with the one who's asleep, yeah. Yeah! That's how that works, Chris Domkowski. If I'm asleep and you're awake and I'm having a wet dream and you're not, right? You're gay. You're gay. You're acting gay towards me. I'm asleep. I'm not even aware you came in or when you woke me until I woke up the next morning, right? That's a wet dream that ain't about you. See, that's what you can't get over. You've been lied to about being gay, and you've been lied about it for so long, you don't even know what it is anymore to be gay, right? That's another problem, right? People want to make it up or as they go along. Well, there's certain things that don't have to do with being gay or straight. Wet dreams are one of them, right? Wet dreams ain't about no one. If my mother was sleeping next to me and I had a wet dream, it ain't about her either, for example. Or my cousins or whatever, right? Or even my sister, if she was asleep in the same bed with me, but that never happened either, right? Like I said, right? I was sleeping in the living room anyway, or on the chair, right? The recliner, right? Usually. And I never left the living room unless it was go to the bathroom, and then I went back to the living room, like I said, right? And there was only 2 underage girls that could have done something with me if the problem was the guy tried to rape her, the roommate or the boyfriend, right? Who she kicked out, by the way, right? Now, after me and the mom had sex, she went to her bedroom and I went to the couch, right? Now, if the daughter snuck in there, it's between the time she went to bed and I went to bed and the next morning, right? Which could still have happened, right? But I don't remember it happening. See, that's the problem, too, right? If she did and the mom said something after the sex, she let her have sex with me. She did, right? I'm the one with the amnesia there, right? That's what I mean, right? And I'm not trying to have sex with the daughter, just the mom, right? So that makes something different there too. Yes. Exactly. So you gotta knowingly try to have sex with a child and not care about the consequences. I would never do that, right? And you can't entrap me by having her lie about her age, right? Even if she came up with it on the spot and lied, right? Oh, well, that changes everything, right? Because you didn't know who they meant, right? Right. And I would never know that, right? That who you meant, right? I can't know if you're trying to hint at someone that was the one you meant the whole time. And Michelle could be a popular name for any girl, Asian or not, right? Even a Caucasian girl who looks with brown hair and brown eyes could work as a type of dream girl anyway. She ain't got to be perfectly Asian looking either, right? See, the thing about a dream is it don't replace a real human being in your life. Now, the thing is, after Daphne, I met Maribel in the Burger King, and like I said, we hit it off, right? And then I remembered the dream about the Asian girl, right? And yeah, and told her about all that, right? More likely as well. Anyway. Now, Daphne is fair skinned, though, for an African, right? She got the light skin, the Asian complexion, too, right? I told you that as well. And her name is Daphne. That means princess. Like Sarah. Plus, I watch Spaceballs. And Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you? Why do you think I considered her possibly being my wife? I had no coincidence with Daphne either. Yes, she did. Yeah, I did. But they were different, right? As with Maribel, as with Simone, there was some kind of coincidence there. Even the redhead I was with was bigger than the girl in the dream, so I didn't let that bother me, right? Though the girl in the dream, we were having sex and she just held me in, and I had that shortly after I met Davis, right? And his unique shit program, right? Okay. See, I'm covering my whole life in 40 something minutes already, but talking about different subject matters too, right? See, we're going all over the place, right? Because we're not talking about one subject matter. We're also talking about punishment of statutory rape. What's the punishment for it? Well, I go to jail, right? You don't get to murder me over it. Or black me out over it so I don't even know what the hell happened, right, with the girl. And I know that's because you set it up, right? If she were to sleep with me or not, right? You knew who you meant the whole time. I never knew who you meant. Even when I was going out to the other salons, I didn't know who you meant, right? And see, that's the thing. There's a salon in every strip mall in Georgia, right? Yes, there are. Yes, there are. I don't know which one you meant, right? Sorry, no, there is. Mm-hmm. You're lying on your butt if you say they aren't. No. And that's why there's an age requirement for that job. There is. And see, it's her dad who don't get that she couldn't work the job till she was 16 anyway. Not me, not you. But I would ask her agent. I wouldn't care if she was doing the job for her dad. I said that too, right? I wouldn't understand that, right? See, sometimes I'm saying something sarcastically or literally or whatever I have to say, right? But I would understand her working in her dad's store at 15, but he didn't even say that. It was someone working in her dad's store at 15, right? Oh, that was brought up later, right? Mm-hmm. And so I pointed out again, right? You didn't point that out before that, right? Plus, she didn't say she was 15, but 37, right? It's a little bit different in age there, don't you think, right? Nowhere near it, right? She didn't say she was 18 or 16 or, right? Then I can understand you being mad that she says, right? Well, she said, right. But she didn't say a minor age, but one closer to my age, which is 37, right? Now, maybe, like I told you, she thought I looked 37 instead of 50, but I don't know. I don't know what she meant by saying she was 37, but I asked her age when she said all that, right? And I also asked where she was from. So you're saying she lied about three things. If she's from Georgia and she said she was from New Jersey, she lied, right? If she's still in high school and I asked her if she graduated college and she said yes, she lied, right? And if she said she was 37 and you said she was 15, she lied, right? I didn't lie about anything. I didn't hide my age from her. I told her I was 50 and a disabled veteran from Savannah, Georgia. It was in the Navy, right? I told her certain things about myself, too, just up front, right? I do it with all the girls I meet. It's called quid pro quo in a way, too, but the difference is I'm not trying to do a crime with the girl either, right? So you're trying to introduce yourself, right? Now, none of the other girls, though, I didn't lose time with, right? Just her. Mm-hmm. And the other nail salons either. Even after that, I didn't lose time with no one else but her. Mm-hmm. And that's the point about it being 30 to 40 minutes anyway. It's rounding it up either way. And she was doing it kind of quick, right? And then after the feet, you do the nails, which is quicker, right? Right. Shouldn't take more than 20 minutes for the feet and 10 for the nails, right? To 15, right? And I'm trying to spot her at 40 minutes, right? In an hour after, right? Because I didn't leave the store till 10 until 4. Mm-hmm. And my story started when I realized I lost the time anyway. And that's when I started talking about, well, the girl says it was 37. Da, 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 da. And that's when you started arguing with me about this store. And telling me the girl was really 15, right? And I kept asking you, wasn't she lying then? Right, she said 37. I know there's between 15 and 37, right? One starts with a 30 and one starts with a fifth. Fifth 30. Don't even sound the same to anyone, does it? No. You can't confuse the two ages, right? Nope. Even if you want to pretend. I didn't ask her age, which I did as soon as I went in the store, right? And officially met her and she came up to do my nails, right? I asked her age. But that's why I'm showing you Christine Ritchie still looks like she just stepped off the lot at Warner Brothers doing Family Values. Having family. And you can't tell her age by looking at her, right? She's also a petite girl that you would, if you met her on the street, would guard her yourself to make sure you don't get in trouble with that girl. You would ask her name. Don't tell me you wouldn't if you met her on the street. Because you can get in trouble for that too, right? You gotta make sure at least some way, right? And see, that's why I ain't got a card her, because her employer is supposed to card her, right? He's supposed to have all that information on her, right? He has to have her certificates, her GED, her Georgia driver's license, right? Even if she's from New Jersey, her New Jersey driver's license, and her college degree, she had a real college degree, right? I gotta see all that, right? Even though she told me all that too, right? See, I ain't got to card her when she's already working in the store, right? Her employer does all that for me. I'm the customer, right? I'm always right, by the way, too. No, you're always right. That's what he see. I'm always right here, and he's wrong. He's doing the actual evil here, right? By letting her lie to me and set me up with her, right? He don't see how that's his fault. It is his fault. You can't do it either, right? Now, even pimps who pimp out children, right? Okay, right. And the Johns who know they're 15 are underage, right? It's still done differently, even in New York, right? Now, in New York, though, the age of consent is what? 18, right? But in Georgia or Virginia or, right, wherever it's a different age, or Nevada, right, it's 16, right? So if you come to my state and you're 16, you can legally sleep with me, even if your state says 18, because you're coming to here as a guest, right? See, I'm the Georgia resident. I've been living here for years, right? So it's like sleeping in a motel room if you come to my home and then you leave, right? Anyway, right? I'm having you as a guest, and I live in Georgia, right? And I've been here for years, right? Mm-hmm. It's like having someone sleep over at your house and you live in Georgia. Well, Georgia rules apply, right? If you go to California, though, I gotta wait till you're 18, and I can't be with you till you're 18. That's the point, right? That's how it works there. But most states, you think the age of consent is 18, but you gotta look it up, right? It's actually state by state, right? They don't tell you all this info, right? You gotta look it up yourself, right? To know what the age of consent is for your state personally, right? And in Georgia, it's still 16, right? Whatever reason they made it 16, it was 16. See, whatever the law says is the age of consent for that state, that's what it is. Unless they change it. And if they change it, you got to tell everybody you can't change it secretly to 17 or 18, right? You got to let people know it's now 18 or 17 or 16 still, right? So they don't commit the crime willfully, right? You might say, well, ignorance of the law is no excuse for breaking the law. Well, that depends on what you're trying to do, right? Am I trying to break the law or not? No, not, right? See, I'm not trying to break the law. You're trying to make me break the law, right? Which changes things. Bye.